welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be exploring startups and entrepreneurship
Okay.
using The Unfair Advantage by Ali and Hasan Kubba.
Right.
This book offers a refreshingly honest take on what really drives startup success
Okay.
and how you can use what you already have to achieve your goals.
Interesting.
So,
The authors present a thought-provoking idea
okay.
that success isn't solely about hard work, but also about recognizing and utilizing your unfair advantages.
So they use this compelling example.
Yeah.
Imagine two job seekers, Sally and Jenna, with identical qualifications.
Right.
Sally applies online, diligently preparing her resume and cover letter.
Makes sense.
But
Hmm.
Jenna has a friend at the company who recommends her to the hiring manager.
Right.
You know?
Intuitively, we understand Jenna has an advantage.
Yeah.
That simple personal connection becomes a significant advantage,
Yeah.
highlighting the impact of factors beyond mere credentials.
Yeah, it compels you to consider all the subtle ways these advantages might function in the real world,
Hmm.
beyond job applications.
Exactly. The authors expand on this with the accumulative advantage concept.
Okay,
They cite Malcolm Gladwell's study on Canadian hockey players.
interesting.
It turns out kids born earlier in the year are often physically larger due to their age,
Ah,
so they get picked for stronger teams, receive more coaching, and gain more opportunities.
creating a snowball effect.
Yeah, it's like a perpetual head start.
It's fascinating.
The fascinating part is how these seemingly minor initial advantages
Right.
can compound over time,
Yeah.
leading to significant disparities in outcomes later on.
Wow.
This applies not only to sports, but also to academia, business, and many other areas.
It certainly challenges the idea that success is solely merit-based. It's eye-opening.
Yeah.
But the book isn't about bemoaning these disparities.
Oh.
It's about empowering you to identify and utilize the advantages you may already have.
And a key aspect of that is acknowledging the role of luck.
Okay.
When we say luck, we're not just talking about hitting the jackpot. The authors define it as a blend of chance events,
Okay.
both favorable and unfavorable, that shape our paths.
So they use Oprah Winfrey's journey as a compelling illustration.
Right.
Oprah undoubtedly worked tirelessly, but she was also gifted with exceptional public speaking abilities from a young age.
Yeah, and if we consider the broader context, it emphasizes how even tough experiences like the adversity Oprah faced
Right.
can contribute to shaping our individual strengths and perspectives.
Interesting.
It's a reminder that luck isn't always about good fortune, but a force to be reckoned with.
So how do we pinpoint and utilize these unfair advantages?
Okay, well, this is where the book's Miles framework comes in.
Okay.
Money, intelligence and insight, location and luck, education and expertise, and status.
Gotcha.
The Miles framework serves as a practical method for systematically analyzing your personal strengths and opportunities.
Cool.
It's about feeling empowered by what you have,
Okay.
not limited by what you lack. And as the authors highlight, sometimes even apparent disadvantages can be transformed into advantages with the right outlook.
It's like shifting our perspective on our circumstances.
Yes.
Okay, let's explore the first component of the Miles framework, money.
All right.
Obviously, pre-existing wealth can be a massive advantage in startups,
Yes.
and the authors acknowledge that.
They cite a rather striking example from the UK property website Zoopla. To dominate search engine rankings, Zoopla simply bought all the companies ranking above them on Google.
Really?
Yeah, it's a display of sheer financial power.
It's like skipping the queue on a grand scale.
Uh-huh.
But beyond major investments, having a financial safety net can be crucial, right?
Absolutely. They quote Jay-Z,
Okay.
who famously stated, "Even if I fell, I'd land on a bunch of money."
Right.
It's about having that buffer to take risks and pursue opportunities
Mm-hmm.
without the crippling fear of financial ruin.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So for those of us not sitting on a fortune, what are some practical approaches to managing the financial side of starting a business?
The authors propose a few key tactics.
Okay.
First, minimize your living expenses.
Okay.
It may seem obvious, but cutting back on unnecessary spending can prolong your runway time,
Right.
that critical period before your startup turns profitable.
So it's about optimizing your available resources.
Isaac.
And they also recommend learning marketing and sales.
That's a valuable point.
Yeah.
They contend that these skills not only help generate revenue,
Mm-hmm.
but also provide essential experience for any entrepreneurial endeavor.
Okay.
It's an investment in your own development.
So it's not just about the money you have,
Right.
but how you handle it and the skills you acquire to make it work for you.
Exactly.
Now let's move on to the next element of the Miles Framework, intelligence and insight.
Okay. Here the authors go beyond the conventional IQ notion.
Okay.
They explain that intelligence comes in many forms, from book smarts to street smarts and inventive thinking.
They highlight the Collison brothers, founders of the payment company Stripe, as perfect examples of book smarts.
Yes.
These guys were coding prodigies from a young age,
Yeah.
attending top universities like MIT and Harvard.
And remarkably, they became millionaires before Stripe.
Wow.
With a different company they started as teenagers.
Really?
Yeah, it clearly demonstrates how raw intellectual ability can translate into entrepreneurial success.
But it's not just about being a genius, right?
No.
They also stress the significance of street smarts,
Yes.
which include things like emotional intelligence and social skills.
Absolutely. They use the example of Nikola Tesla,
Okay.
the brilliant inventor who struggled with social interactions and business dealings.
Right.
Despite his genius, he died relatively poor,
Wow.
emphasizing how even the most brilliant minds can falter without a certain level of social and emotional intelligence.
It's a cautionary tale,
Yeah.
showing that even brilliance needs the right support and savvy to truly thrive in the business world.
Exactly. And lastly, they discuss creative intelligence, the capacity to spot unmet needs and devise innovative solutions. This is where entrepreneurs like Tristan Walker, founder of the men's grooming company Bevel, truly excel.
Tristan's story is captivating because he's specifically targeted an underserved demographic, African-American men with coarse curly hair who frequently experience razor bumps and irritation.
He identified a problem he personally faced, and that firsthand experience gave him a distinct understanding of his target audience's needs. It's a classic example of scratching your own itch, which the authors recommend as a powerful starting point for uncovering a great startup idea.
It's about transforming personal annoyances into opportunities, isn't it?
Precisely. Beyond personal experience, the authors encourage developing creative intelligence simply by being perceptive and inquisitive about the world around you. They argue that everyday inconveniences and unmet needs can be fertile ground for innovation.
It's like training yourself to identify those eureka moments. So for aspiring entrepreneurs, the key takeaway here is to cultivate a multifaceted intelligence encompassing intellectual horsepower, social skills, and the knack for spotting those gaps in the market. It's a potent combination.
Now let's delve into the next element of the Miles framework: location and look.
This one feels a bit more intangible, almost like destiny. Is it truly that impactful?
Well, consider this. Would Silicon Valley have become the tech hub it is without a unique confluence of factors? Stanford University, a breeding ground for engineering talent, provided the initial impetus.
And then you had venture capitalists establishing themselves on Sand Hill Road, eager to finance the next big innovation. It created a kind of self-sustaining ecosystem, didn't it?
Exactly. It perfectly illustrates how location-specific advantages can accumulate and gain momentum. They even use the term clustering to describe this phenomenon, where businesses' talent and resources tend to congregate in particular geographic areas.
So aspiring entrepreneurs should pack their bags and head for Silicon Valley.
Not necessarily. While Silicon Valley is undeniably a powerful example, the authors stress that location advantages can manifest in various ways. For instance, Huda Kattan, founder of the billion-dollar beauty brand Huda Beauty, strategically relocated to Dubai, recognizing a wider market for her Middle Eastern-inspired aesthetic.
So it's about finding a location that aligns with your target market and grants access to the resources you need.
Precisely. They also emphasize the importance of timing, which they categorize as an aspect of luck. Remember, Will Shu, the founder of Deliveroo, he conceived the idea for his food delivery service years before launching because he had to wait for the technology, specifically smartphone apps and GPS tracking, to catch up with his vision.
It's a perfect example of being in the right spot at the right time with the right technology. But sometimes timing can be a bit more serendipitous, can't it?
Absolutely. They cite the intriguing story of Nintendo, the Japanese gaming giant. Its origins are actually rooted in the government's historical crackdown on gambling when card games became too popular. Authorities would ban them, forcing Nintendo's founder Fusajiro Yamauchi to constantly adjust and innovate.
Wow. So Nintendo's success is partly due to a series of historical accidents. Who knew?
What's fascinating is how these seemingly random events can shape an industry and create unexpected opportunities. It's a reminder to be receptive to the unexpected twists and turns that luck can bring. But beyond geographical location, they also discuss the significance of surrounding yourself with the right people, a concept they refer to as your virtual location.
So even if you're not physically situated in a bustling startup hub, you can cultivate a supportive network online through platforms like forums, social media, and other virtual communities.
Precisely, it's about tapping into that collective energy and knowledge regardless of physical distance. And speaking of cultivating knowledge and skills, let's transition to the next element of the Miles framework: education and expertise.
Now, I'm assuming this one is fairly straightforward. The more you know, the better equipped you are to navigate the complexities of starting a business correct.
While that's certainly accurate, the authors adopt a more nuanced perspective. They acknowledge that formal education, such as university attendance, can lay a solid foundation. However, they also emphasize the value of self-directed learning and developing specialized expertise.
They actually use Ash Ali's entrepreneurial journey as an example. He never attended university, but became a digital marketing expert by immersing himself in books and implementing those skills in real-world projects.
It's a testament to the idea that education takes various forms. The key is to be a lifelong learner, constantly seeking new knowledge and refining your craft.
They even mentioned that some of the largest companies like Google and Apple are moving away from requiring college degrees for certain roles. It's a sign that the educational landscape is shifting.
Indeed, and when it comes to expertise, the authors highlight how even a perceived disadvantage, like not having a formal degree, can be an asset. They posit that it can foster a certain level of creativity and resourcefulness.
It's like having to discover unconventional paths to success, which can lead to unique insights and solutions.
And to build that expertise, they recommend a multifaceted approach to reading, connecting with mentors, enrolling in online courses, and most importantly, applying that knowledge through practical experience.
It's about blending theory and practice, continuously experimenting and honing your abilities. And as they note, you don't have to be an expert in every area. It's perfectly acceptable to focus on your strengths and collaborate with individuals possessing complementary skills.
Collaboration is paramount, especially when starting a business. And speaking of how we present ourselves and interact with others, let's explore the final element of the Miles framework: status.
Now, this one can be a bit tricky. It almost feels like we're discussing social hierarchy or popularity contests.
While those elements can certainly play a part, the authors define status more broadly as the combination of factors that influence how we're perceived and the opportunities that come our way.
They distinguish between outer status, which encompasses things like social standing, possessions, and even fashion choices, and inner status, which is all about self-assurance and how we view ourselves.
They even mention a study that found investment banking firms were less likely to hire candidates who wore brown shoes to interview.
Seriously, brown shoes, that's unbelievable.
It might sound absurd, but it highlights how even seemingly insignificant details can carry cultural weight and impact our perceived status, especially in certain fields.
It's a reminder to be cognizant of the unspoken rules and expectations that exist in different social circles.
And beyond outward appearances, they also address the importance of cultural capital, which encompasses our knowledge, skills, and even accents. They point out how these factors can subtly influence how we're perceived and the opportunities we receive.
So it's about recognizing the cultural cues and nuances that shape our interactions. But beyond outer status, they also stress the significance of inner status, right?
Absolutely, and a vital aspect of that is self-confidence. They use the inspiring story of Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, as an illustration. Sarah faced numerous rejections early in her career, but never abandoned her vision. She attributes her resilience partly to her family's outlook on failure.
It's remarkable how our upbringing and early experiences can shape our inner status and our willingness to embrace risks.
They also discuss the concept of social capital, which essentially refers to the strength of our networks and relationships. Having a robust network can unlock opportunities, offer guidance, and foster a sense of community.
It's like having a support system to help you navigate the highs and lows of entrepreneurship. So when it comes to status, it's a blend of outer perception, cultural awareness, and inner self-belief.
Precisely. And the encouraging news is that status can be cultivated. We can expand our networks, broaden our knowledge, and most importantly, develop that inner confidence to pursue our goals.
So we've explored the 5 elements of the Miles framework: money intelligence and insight location and luck education and expertise and status. It's a fairly comprehensive way to assess our strengths and opportunities.
It's important to remember that no one possesses all these advantages in abundance. The key is to identify your strongest areas and discover how to leverage them effectively.
And sometimes that involves partnering with individuals who have complementary strengths.
Right.
It's about assembling a team that can collectively overcome obstacles and achieve success.
And speaking of teamwork, one of the most crucial aspects of entrepreneurship, particularly for those aiming for high-growth startups, is finding the right co-founder.
And I'm guessing having a partner in crime can make the entrepreneurial journey a bit less daunting, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. The authors highlight how the emotional and logistical burdens of running a startup can be overwhelming for a solo founder.
They even suggest that discord between co-founders is a primary cause of startup failure, so selecting the right individual is paramount.
They offer some practical advice for navigating this critical decision. Firstly, seek someone with complementary skills. If you're a tech whiz, you might need a partner who excels at marketing and sales.
It's about balancing each other's strengths and weaknesses.
And just as important as skills is trust. Ideally, choose someone you already know and have strong rapport with. Starting a business with a stranger can be risky, as building trust requires time.
It's like any close bond, you need that foundation of mutual respect and understanding to weather the inevitable challenges.
And they recommend attending industry events, meetups, and even online communities as potential avenues for finding like-minded individuals who could become your co-founder.
It's about putting yourself out there and connecting with people who share your passion and vision. But even if you decide to go solo, the authors emphasize the importance of having a solid network for support and guidance.
They share some insightful tips for building that network. First, be genuinely interested in adding value to the people you encounter. It's not about what you can gain, but what you can contribute.
It's about forming authentic connections based on mutual respect and shared interests.
And second, enhance your own status not in a boastful way, but by developing your expertise and becoming someone others perceive as valuable. It's about making yourself someone others want to connect with.
So it's a reciprocal process. You're offering value and becoming someone who is seen as valuable in return. Now, let's discuss the ideas themselves. What constitutes a great startup idea?
The authors debunk a common myth that startup ideas need to be entirely original. They argue that most successful startups are either a variation on an existing idea or the implementation of a proven concept in a new market or sector.
They even propose that being the first to market can be a disadvantage. It often involves educating the market, which can be expensive and time-consuming. It's like paving the way for others to follow.
And they highlight how companies like Airbnb and Hotmail capitalized on existing platforms such as Craigslist and email signatures to gain early traction. It's about being ingenious and resourceful and finding ways to reach your intended audience.
It prompts you to consider all the untapped opportunities hidden in plain sight.
Now, when it comes to generating ideas, the authors stress the importance of scratching your own itch. This simply means finding solutions to problems that you personally encounter.
It's about converting personal frustrations into opportunities, right? They use Tristan Walker, the founder of Bevel, as an example. He created a shaving system specifically designed for men with coarse, curly hair because he struggled with that issue himself.
It's a compelling example of how a deep understanding of a personal problem can lead to a successful business idea.
But beyond personal experience, they also encourage developing a keen eye for observing unmet needs in various fields.
They suggest paying attention to everyday inconveniences, complaints from friends and family, and even frustrations you encounter online. It's about training yourself to view problems as potential opportunities.
So it's a combination of personal experience, keen observation, and a willingness to think outside the box.
Precisely. Now, once you have an idea, the next critical step is validating it, ensuring there's a genuine market for your product or service.
And how do you go about doing that? Is it all about fancy market research and complex analysis?
While those tools can be beneficial, the authors emphasize the importance of something much simpler: talking to prospective customers.
It's about getting out of your head and into the real world, isn't it?
Exactly. They highlight the need to have conversations, understand their requirements, and see if your idea truly resonates with them.
It's about testing your assumptions and gathering feedback early on before investing significant time and resources.
And they caution against becoming enamored with your own idea. It's easy to become attached to a concept, but it's vital to be open to feedback and willing to adapt based on what you learn from potential customers.
It's about being objective and data-driven, not letting emotions cloud your judgment. And then once you have some validation, how do you actually start acquiring those first customers?
The authors advocate for what they call growth scrapping, which involves a hands-on, personalized approach to customer acquisition.
So instead of relying on automated marketing campaigns and sophisticated algorithms, it's about connecting with individuals, directly building relationships, and generating those initial sales through hustle and determination.
Precisely. They suggest attending industry events, reaching out to potential customers on social media, and even going door to door if that's what it takes.
It's about putting in the effort and forging those personal connections.
And they stress the importance of managing cash flow and runway time during this early phase. This might involve bootstrapping, maintaining your current job, or finding creative ways to generate revenue while building your startup.
It's about being resourceful and maximizing what you have now Once you have some momentum and are ready to expand, how do you go about securing funding?
The authors outline various stages of funding, from bootstrapping and personal savings to angel investors, venture capitalists, and eventually IPOs or acquisitions.
The whole new realm, right?
Right.
What are some key considerations for navigating this complex landscape?
They emphasize the importance of research and understanding the different types of investors. Not all investors are created equal. Some specialize in specific industries, while others focus on different stages of a company's development.
So it's about finding the right fit for your startup's needs.
And just as crucial as finding the right investors is crafting a compelling pitch. The authors suggest highlighting your unique, unfair advantages, demonstrating traction and growth potential, and clearly articulating your business model and revenue strategy.
It's about telling a captivating story that captures their attention and persuades them to invest in your vision. They also stress the importance of managing investor relationships and expectations.
It's about being transparent, communicative, and accountable for delivering on your commitments. Cultivating strong relationships with investors can be invaluable for long-term success.
So it's not just about securing the funding, but about fostering a mutually beneficial partnership. Now, before we conclude, I think it's important to examine a real-world example of how all these principles come together.
The authors analyze the story of Canva, the incredibly successful online design platform founded by Melanie Perkins. Melanie's journey is a testament to the power of combining hard work with a strategic use of unfair advantages.
Melanie's journey is fascinating because she faced numerous obstacles early on, especially securing funding. Being only 19 when she started convincing investors to take her seriously proved challenging.
Yeah, but she persevered, utilizing her intelligence, insight, and a strong work ethic to overcome those hurdles.
They mention how she even learned to kite surf just to connect with a potential investor hosting a kite surfing event. Talk about dedication.
Yeah, it showcases her determination to go the extra mile, think creatively, and capitalize on any opportunity she could find.
And she had a clear vision from the outset, aiming to create a user-friendly design platform that could compete with industry giants like Microsoft and Adobe.
Right. It serves as a reminder that having a bold vision and the tenacity to pursue it, even in the face of adversity, can be a potent unfair advantage.
It's truly inspiring to witness how she built Canva into a billion-dollar company. It's a testament to the transformative power of entrepreneurship when combined with a strategic understanding of unfair advantages.
It certainly is. Ali and Kubba's book provides valuable insights for anyone embarking on an entrepreneurial journey. It encourages us to reevaluate our perceived limitations and embrace the unique strengths we possess.
Absolutely, this journey through the world of startups and unfair advantages has been eye-opening. It compels us to rethink the traditional narratives surrounding success.
While hard work is undoubtedly essential, the authors convincingly argue that recognizing and utilizing our inherent advantages, often overlooked, can significantly alter our entrepreneurial trajectory.
It's like discovering a hidden tool that can unlock new possibilities and propel us towards our goals.
The authors underscore that this isn't about feeling entitled or superior due to these advantages. It's about acknowledging and utilizing them strategically, ethically, and with gratitude.
It's like gaining a new level of awareness and understanding the rules of the game, allowing us to play more effectively.
Importantly, they emphasize that even perceived disadvantages can be reframed as strengths. Ash, for example, highlights how his lack of formal education fostered resourcefulness and a willingness to learn through unconventional methods.
So it's about transforming those perceived weaknesses into unique assets that set us apart.
Precisely, and Hasan shares how his introverted nature motivated him to develop strong networking skills, recognizing the crucial role relationships played in his success.
It's a powerful reminder that we can overcome our perceived limitations and even leverage them to our advantage with the right mindset.
And speaking of mindset, the authors conclude with a crucial message about defining success on our own terms. It's not about seeking external validation or comparing ourselves to others, but about setting goals aligned with our values and aspirations. It's about finding fulfillment in the journey itself.
Creating a personal definition of success that feels authentic and meaningful, not dictated by societal expectations.
Exactly. And remember, the Miles framework is a tool, not a rigid set of rules. Apply these principles to your circumstances, adapt, learn, and continuously evolve along the way.
It's like having a roadmap and compass, while acknowledging that the path to success may require some improvisation and exploration. Now, as you continue exploring entrepreneurship, I challenge you to consider, what is your unfair advantage? Reflect on it. It might be something so deeply ingrained, so natural to you, that you haven't even recognized it as an advantage. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, happy exploring.